My name is Eric Mathis. I'm also a Michigan native. I grew up in Detroit, Michigan. In about 12, I moved out to the suburbs, a small city called Novi, and eventually stayed there until high school. I was one of only maybe 10 African American students, class of a school of 900. So it took me some time to adjust, which affected me later as far as my path into a legal career. But my interest in law always was early, and it really came from my mom. My mom has always been in school, whether she was teaching or whether she was taking classes. When I was younger, she was teaching at a community college. When she stopped doing that, she was taking classes, working on a master's. At one point, she pursued a legal career. Eventually, she didn't finish, but when she started doing that, that's when it sparked my interest. And I knew at that point that I always wanted to be a lawyer. So I moved to Novi, and it wasn't really until my sophomore year that I kind of looked at myself and all the clowning around that I was doing, and I concentrated on school and realized that, if I wanted to be a lawyer, I had to get into law school. So I got to start studying, and that's when I started to get myself together, concentrate on school, and my whole goal was to go to the University of Michigan because it's a pretty good school. But I didn't have the grades in high school, so I said I'm just going to go to the first school that accepts me. I'm going to tear it up and then transfer to Michigan. So Eastern Michigan University accepted me, so I went there. Had a great time, did extremely well. Probably could have stayed there and gotten a lot of scholarship money, done exceptionally well, but I thought going to Michigan would have been the best opportunity for me. So I transferred to Michigan. I went to Michigan for 4 years, and I got burnt out. I love Michigan, I still do, but when I graduated, I was just tired of school. I said I needed a break. So I majored in history. When you go to law, at Michigan, they say like 20% of the students there are pre-law. And everybody's telling you, to major in political science or something like that. And I took political science, and it was just boring to me. I mean, it was just, I couldn't stand it. But I had a lot of history classes, and I did really, really well in history. So I said, well, I'm not majoring in history. I got accepted to the University of Pittsburgh. At that point, I started to look, and I didn't think I was going to get the financing that I needed. So I asked to defer my admissions, and they granted. I ended up leaving the custom shop because my assistant, we had worked together for a couple of years, he ultimately left. I didn't think there was anybody who was going to be able to do the job as well as he had. It's a job that takes a long time to learn how to measure a suit and things like that. And I just didn't have the time to train somebody like that. So I ended up leaving, and I ended up taking a job at a big and tall store called Rep Big and Tall. The one I was at was on 10 Mile Southfield, and unbeknownst to me, it was actually the #1 store in the country. So I was there. I stayed there for about 6 months, and then the Novi store needed a new manager. So I left that store, went to Novi, worked there for 6 months. When I left, that one ended up being the #1 store. So I went to University of Pittsburgh. My dad told me once, I had been there once when I was like 4 months old, on my softball trips. All he said was just watch out for the Hill District. But I went to Pittsburgh. I loved the University of Pittsburgh. It's a great school. I was not a big fan of the city at all. It's got a lot of benefits as far as the cost of living and jobs, and it's very safe. But it just the culture just wasn't for me. So when I was in law school, I didn't take advantage of a lot of things like the clinics, which I think a lot of students should do. And when I was looking for a job, everybody told me you have to look for the big firm job. And I didn't look for clerkships. I didn't look for jobs like legal aid, defender's office, things like that. So I just looked for the big firm job. And I interviewed with a lot of firms in Michigan and DC, and ultimately got an offer at the firm I'm at, which is Butts & Long. Butts & Long is located here in Detroit. It's about 235 attorneys, 5 offices in Michigan, 1 in New York, 1 in DC, 2 in Florida. and we have some alliance offices in China and Mexico. And I thought I was going to do labor and employment because they have a very strong labor and employment department. And but you know, I didn't know else what I wanted to do. I always thought I'd do family law, criminal, because those were always the ones you saw on TV. But I said, you know, the emotional attachment with those two areas, I said, that's just not for me. So I said, I'll try labor and employment, and I went there for the summer. I did everything but labor and employment. So I ended up working the next summer at Baltimore. Enjoyed it very much, got a permanent offer, and started in 2002. And when I got there, I still thought I was going to do labor and employment, even though I had not done any. And then it turns out there was an attorney who did products liability defense. One of our big clients at the time was Firestone, so there was always something going on. So I started doing that, a lot of vehicle rollovers and things like that. And then he introduced me within the first couple of months to an attorney who did real estate litigation. And me and him just hit it off. I mean, we both had the same type of personalities, we kind of thought alike, wrote alike, and then we worked a lot together. And the way the firm's kind of structured, we work with people that you like. You know, they kind of, you start working with them, at that point, they just start giving you everything and really flooding you with work so they can have you with people all the time. And I really liked real estate litigation. To this day, I still do it and enjoy it more than anything I do. But the nature of litigation, you kind of tool of all trades. You know, a case comes in, you know, you can learn it as you go. You know, my practice group leader, he has a very large asbestos defense practice, and back in 2002, we had you know, tens of thousands of cases across the country, so they always needed people, and they always were using younger associates in those cases, and so I did that, and I still do some asbestos defense work, and not really in the other areas of product liability. Then just by chance, I happened to change offices, and just went one floor up, but there was an attorney next to me that's really becoming an expert in automotive issues. And he was, because prices for raw steel have gone up, we represent a lot of tier 1 suppliers, and their suppliers were stopping shipping parts to our clients if they didn't pay an increased price. So we had to immediately, you know, file a complaint, file a motion for a TRO to force them to ship. So he had these cases popping up 2-3 a week, and normally what happened is I would get the door open, I would see Dan swing around and say, "Eric, are you busy right now?" So because of that, my office happened to be right next to him, and immediately started working on automotive issues, and that's what I do now. So I have a very strange practice, and most people do try and focus on one area, but you know, I think my practice there is kind of weird because I do real estate litigation, asbestos defense, and automotive issues, and automotive litigation, and that's what I do right now. Let's see.